Welcome to the first installment of Urban Scout News. I will be using this series to highlight various stories that I come across in the media that have a direct impact on people living in large, densely populated, that's the key, densely populated urban cities. Let's jump right in. I recently released a video highlighting the hierarchy of needs. You can find it on the channel. I highlighted the top 4: shelter, water, fire, and food. Order of priority from most important to least important. Today we're going to look at a news story that refers to shelter in an urban environment. In any natural or wilderness environment, your ability to build a shelter is only limited by your knowledge, skill set, and the natural materials that exist in that environment. In an urban environment, the rules are very strict. You may have man-made materials all around you, but the laws will prevent you from just setting up camp anywhere. In New York City, the laws and ordinances are very strict. The last video I released was a review of the trailer of the movie released in 1973, Soylent Green. It predicted that in the year 2022, New York would be insanely overcrowded and people would go to extreme measures to obtain an apartment. So the theme of shelter and the extreme measures that people will go through to obtain an apartment are highlighted in this article. This article comes from the New York Post and it's titled, "You now need to earn at least $160,000 a year to rent anything in New York City." Computer, please read article.
New York Post Real Estate section. Title: You now need to earn at least $160,000 a year to rent anything in NYC. Dated June 7, 2022. Earn less than 6 figures. Good luck scoring even a modest New York City apartment. The median ask for a rental in Manhattan has skyrocketed to $3,925 a month, a staggering 31.9% year-over-year jump from April 2021, according to Douglas Elliman's latest market report.
Stop. Computer, please define the 40 times rent rule.
The 40 times rent rule is a guideline that states that a renter will need to make an annual salary equal to approximately 40 times the monthly rent on their NYC apartment. It's an income guideline that helps landlords qualify people as renters. The rule takes into account how much the entire household will be making. So it's not about a single salary. So, for example, if you, your spouse, and your brother all want to rent a large apartment, all 3 of your incomes are going to count to the rule. Landlords ask you to have 40 times the monthly rent as a salary because of the sheer price of living in New York City. However, having 40 times the rent means you'll spend less than 30% of your income on rent.
Thank you. Please continue with the article.
It's a new record high for rent in the city, coming off record lows during the thick of the pandemic. The unprecedented demand for apartments in the city, as New Yorkers return to work and new work from homers move to NYC, has even resulted in bidding wars for studio apartments, as the Post previously reported. Meanwhile, the median New York household income was most recently just $67,046 according to the census. So, to qualify for a Manhattan rental, you need to rake in close to 3 times what an everyday New Yorker makes.
Stop. Please take a moment to think about that. The median New York household income is $67,000, but to qualify for a rental apartment in Manhattan, you need to make 3 times that. Think about that. If you make $67,000, you need to make 3 times that in order to just qualify for a rental. That median rent of $4,000 a month is not to buy a house. It is to rent. That is $4,000 a month that just goes to a landlord. You do not accrue any equity. You do not own anything. It will not be yours after 20 years. That is just to rent, not to own, just to rent. This is the most populated city in the United States of America. What are the implications for the population where the vast majority cannot afford a place to live? I remember a statement made by the former billionaire mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, where he said he wanted to turn Manhattan into a luxury property. Well, he has succeeded. Please continue.
Rents have never been this high, said Jonathan Miller, the president and CEO of Miller Samuel Inc., which complied the data, told the Post. As we continue to see record rents being set, that also means the threshold for salary is going to rise.
Stop. That is an absolute lie and a ridiculous statement. That is only true for people at the high end of the income stream, people who can negotiate their salaries, people who have corporate jobs, skill sets where the corporation gives a damn. Most salary earners who are making $15, $20 an hour, They cannot go to their boss and say the rents are too high, you need to raise my pay. It's not going to happen. That is the delusion of people with money who have no idea how average people live. That is a ridiculous statement. Please continue.
Broken down further, the data shows that median rent for a Manhattan studio was $2,850 a month, up 28.4% from last year, meaning eligible tenants must make $114,000 to pass the 40 times rule. One bedrooms jumped to $3,995 a month from just $3,000 a year ago.
Stop. Let's think about this. Let's think about these numbers. To rent a studio apartment in Manhattan, $2,850 a month. And to be eligible for that apartment, you need to be making $114,000 a year. Now, when you look at a one bedroom, that's $3,995 a month, $4,000 a month for a one bedroom in Manhattan. Now, I know there's a bunch of people looking at this video that are going to say, well, that's just Manhattan. You can find an affordable place in Brooklyn and in Queens. Wrong. Wrong. Listen carefully to the next section. Continue.
In Brooklyn, the median rent reached $3,048, up from $2,730 year over year. A studio in the city's largest borough will now set you back $2,674, meaning that to move to Brooklyn you'll need to haul in a minimum of $106,000. Waterfront Queens neighborhoods cost even more. The median rent in northwestern Queens shot to $3,126 a month from $2,581 year over year. A studio in an area like Long Island City will now cost you $2,929, a staggering 51% more than in 2021. But don't expect relief anytime soon. Rents are expected to rise even higher this summer, as recent graduates arrive in town for new jobs. Worse still, the inventory of new apartments is expected to tighten. With few new developments coming to market, the city's sales market isn't any better. According to a survey published by Zillow this month, the market has gotten so competitive and stressful that half of home buyers report the process made them cry at least once. Younger buyers were much more likely to shed tears over the experience, with 65% of Gen Z buyers and 61% of millennial buyers admitting home buying made them weep. Only 10% of recent buyers surveyed by Zillow said that no part of the process was stressful. But while times are tough for those not bringing in a bundle, sky-high prices are nothing new to real estate-scarred New Yorkers, who have long relied on swarms of roommates and guarantors to make the rent. It's not easy to digest, Miller said, noting that inflation is also exacerbating the crisis. But landlords want renters who are qualified to pay the rent. As we continue to see record rents being set, that also means the threshold for salary will rise, as the 40 times rule continues to be relied on.
That's the end of the article. That's a really strange survey question to ask, whether or not you've cried from the stress of the experience of trying to obtain an apartment in New York City. I don't even know what to make of that. That's really strange. I have to think about that one. But they also mentioned the fact that New Yorkers are going to have roommates and guarantors. Anyone who's dated in New York knows that it is rare to find a single person that lives in a decent area that lives alone. Almost everyone has a roommate, and I'm talking about people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. So that's something that I've always known, but has gotten worse in the recent years. And guarantors, who's going to co-sign for you at $4,000 a month? Remember, this is not to buy a house. This is just to rent. Roommates and guarantors. And this is on top of inflation. I just looked at the markets. Cryptocurrency is down 75% from its highs in 2021. The S&P 500 just went down another 4%. Gas is already $7 a gallon in some states, but the price of renting an apartment is at an all-time high. Make sense of that. If you learned something from today's video, please like, please subscribe. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel to grow. Until next time.